The whole idea for Symphonic Stories occurred because of a trip that I took to Japan last year. As a child growing up in Japan, I experienced a lot of earthquakes. Never experienced a tsunami, never experienced anything of that magnitude. We were walking along and we didn't think anything of it until we got back to the hotel and we heard sirens outside of our hotel. And I can understand just enough Japanese to hear them say, "Get off the beach." Turned on the television and there were these horrible images. This 30-foot black wall of water coming through and destroying everything in its path. Entire towns were wiped out. They were just completely wiped out. We were far south enough that we were safe, but we did not know it at the time. As an individual, what can you really do? There's nothing you can do. I'm not an emergency person. All I can do is sit there helpless watching television as this terrible event was taking place. And so when I got back, I felt compelled to do something about it. And rather than just write a check, I wanted to create something beautiful and positive out of it if I could. And that was when the idea of having a charity benefit concert occurred to me. Now, interestingly, I was trying to figure out who to donate this to when I read on the internet about the ordeals of the Sendai Philharmonic Orchestra. And of course, their hall was destroyed by the earthquake and tsunami. And you know, ordinarily, if something like that happens, you pick up your bags and you go find a job somewhere else. But the brave musicians of the Sendai Orchestra didn't do that. What they did is they got together and they started playing in high schools, in evacuation centers, even on street corners, in order to help boost the spirits of the survivors. It's a beautiful story. It's a story of altruism. It's a story of humanity. And I was very moved by this story, and that's when I decided that I had to do something to help the Sendai Philharmonic Orchestra. And those are the beneficiaries of this particular concert. I decided that I was going to compose a symphonic piece called Love Song of the Japanese Cranes. Cranes mate for life, and they are an image of healing and hope. And it's the story of two cranes who lose each other in the tsunami and earthquake. Knowing that, you know, I'm not a good enough composer to have a full concert by myself, I invited 6 other composers from Seattle to join me. That's when I met Tim Hewling, and we decided that we were going to host this concert together.
With Glenna, her piece is really powerfully evocative of her time in Japan. So we got together and decided that we could put on a concert of several pieces that each tell a story, like her piece tells a story.
When I decided, okay, this is my first chance to write for symphony orchestra, what should I do? Well, the obvious thing is, you know, write what you know. So my piece is based on a book series that I read when I was growing up called The Dragon Riders of Pern. Since I was so familiar with this piece, it's sort of a part of my DNA, so I figured with all the other challenges you have in writing a full symphonic piece, why not make that part of it easy?
We have some of the best players in Seattle. I've worked with a lot of these people before. I really admire them. David Saby, who's the conductor, to have the opportunity for them to play my music, to be playing in Benaroya Hall is, you know, it's incredible. In my musical life thus far, this is the high point. This is it.
Here you have 7 new pieces of work never been performed before, 7 young composers, and a top-notch professional orchestra in a world-class concert hall. I think that's pretty special.
Most composers in the course of their careers, if they're lucky, get opportunities like this. Hopefully not once in a lifetime, but it's one of a few times in one's life.
I'm trying to create something that is an absolutely beautiful event that will be perceived that way by everyone who is participating in it. By the people from Sendai who are going to benefit, by the composers who are participating in it, and for everyone who's going to come to the concert just to make a dream come true. I mean, that's what this is about.